Welcome to Spectrum News at 10. I am Imedion James, coming to you. Vice President Kashim Shettima presides over NEC meeting. Governor Moino announces plans to provide 150,000 lock-up shops for widows of fallen heroes. Plus, U.S. seizes 6th Venezuela's linked oil tanker in Caribbean Sea. We'll bring you details of the stories and more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. Thanks for staying tuned. First in the news this morning is that Vice President Kashim Shettima has presided over the 156th National Economic Council meeting in Abuja. The hybrid meeting is the second gathering of the council since President Bola Tinubu directed the NEC to identify and rehabilitate grazing reserves into ranches, tasking NEC to collaborate with the Ministry of Livestock Development in developing a roadmap for transforming Nigeria's livestock industry. The committee, chaired by Kebbi State Governor Nasser Idris, had representatives from each of the Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones: Bauchi for the northeast, Niger for the north-central, Ondo for the southeast, Cross River for the south-south, and Kebbi for the northwest. The committee was tasked to review recommendations from the Presidential Livestock Reform Committee and the Ministry of Livestock Development, as well as identify interested states for the program's implementation. Away from that, Nigerian Legion has said that it is collaborating with the federal government to establish affordable housing estate for military veterans as part of efforts to ensure a smooth and dignified transition from active service to retirement. The national chairman of the Legion, Grace Henry, who disclosed these while speaking to journalists on the sidelines of the wreath-laying ceremony to mark the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day held in Abuja, said the initiative is aimed at ensuring we were left without a home after years of dedicated service to the nation. Henry described the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance comprehensive initiative that honored fallen heroes, while also celebrating serving and retired personnel. She said the expansion of the former armed force, where the Senate has given an assurance on the global stage. Deputy Governor of the Senate, Senator Jibrin Baru, made the clarification during the official presentation of the first Nigerian reputation papers. According to him, independent reports were essential for effective lawmaking and oversight. However, the Senate leader cautioned that reputation must be anchored on lived realities. He pledged legislative support for reforms that promote transparency, unity, and social justice. On security matters, Nigeria's Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, has explained that recent United States military airstrikes in Sokoto State were aimed at halting the growing threat posed by Lukowara. He said the primary objective of the operation was to prevent the group from spreading further and destabilizing more communities. Speaking in a live broadcast, the former defense chief noted that while front new ones early to prevent them from becoming more entrenched. Elsewhere, the Chief of Army Staff, COAS, Lieutenant General Wahid Shaibu, has called for deeper strategic collaboration between the Nigerian Army and the United States Army to effectively address Nigeria's evolving and complex security challenges. The COAS made the call when the United States Defense Attached to Nigeria, Lieutenant Colonel Samira Morales in Abuja. Lieutenant General Shaibu commended the United States government for enduring partnership and sustained support to the Nigerian Army, noting that the Nigerian Army has benefited significantly from American military professionalism and institutional expertise. In her remarks, Lieutenant Colonel Moore expressed appreciation for the cordial and mutually beneficial relationship between the two armies. She reaffirmed her commitment to strengthening existing ties while exploring new areas of collaboration, particularly in capacity building, intelligence sharing, and joint operational planning. In another development, the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) says it would not tolerate any form of indecent batch A orientation course for new corpus kicks off nationwide on January 21st. The warning was issued by the Director General of NYSC, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, during a pre-orientation course workshop for staff in Jos Plateau State. Nafiu, while emphasizing the importance of discipline, patriotism, and selfless service, stressed that the orientation course must be reimagined to ensure relevance, quality, and measurable outcomes that enable corps members to integrate seamlessly into a flexible, responsive, and resilient platform that genuinely enhances the national service experience and effectively addresses modern realities. He also noted the need for camp officials to follow existing policies and operational guidelines, using emotional intelligence and in interactions with corps members. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino yesterday announced a comprehensive economic empowerment package aimed at improving the livelihoods of widows of fallen military, police, and paramilitary personnel through sustainable income-generating initiatives. The senator of Udo-Udoma Avenue, Uyo, said, as part of the initiative, the state government will construct 150,000 lock-up stores comprising 100 for widows of fallen military personnel and 50 for widows of deceased police officers and other paramilitary operatives. The governor disclosed that beneficiaries will also receive take-off grant to enable them to establish and sustain small-scale businesses. Let's take a listen.
We are all witnesses to the improvements in security all over the nation. Here in Akwa Ibom State, we'll continue to celebrate the peace we have been enjoying. We'll continue to pay glowing tributes to our service commanders, men and officers of the security agencies for working collaboratively to ensure that they keep our state and our borders safe. We'll continue to see politics as a means to serve our people and not a platform to engage in political blood sport. This year, based on our desire to provide a more sustainable and enduring welfare package for those whose loved ones paid the ultimate price, we want to move beyond just donating money to giving the widows a livelihood. And so we commit to building 100 lock-up stores for the widows of the military, 50 lock-up stores for the widows of the fallen police officers and other paramilitary personnel. That will make 150 lock-up stores. On completion, We will support the successful allottees of this.
Meanwhile, he also added that the coordinator of the Office of the First Lady, the Ministry of Women Affairs, and the Bureau of Cooperative will jointly coordinate and supervise the project to ensure prompt and timely delivery. Speaking on national unity and politics, the governor urged leaders to continue to see politics as a platform for service rather than bloodshed, commending chairmen of political parties for personally attending the remembrance event. He expressed optimism that leaders across party lines would continue to embrace politics of ideas, development and peaceful engagement. Government House correspondent Jen Owa reports that high point of the event was a symbolic laying of wreath at the tomb of the fallen heroes, 21-gun salute, and the release of pigeons. Let's move now to Africa, where the United Nations has warned that food aid in Sudan is at risk of running out by the end of March unless urgent funding is secured, threatening millions in what is already the world's largest hunger crisis. The World Food Programme's Director of Emergency Preparedness and Response, Ross Smith, said the agency had already been forced to cut rations to the absolute minimum for survival and warned that without immediate support, millions could lose access to life-saving assistance within weeks. According to the UN, more than 21 million people, nearly half of Sudan's population, are now facing acute food insecurity, adding that famine has been confirmed in El Fasher, the capital of North Darfur, and in Kudugli, in neighboring Darfur, both heavily affected by fighting. Reports say after nearly 3 years of civil war between Sudan's army and the paramilitary rapid support forces, humanitarian conditions have deteriorated sharply. Tens of thousands of people have been killed and around 11 million displaced by the fighting. On the foreign scene, United States forces have seized an oil tanker in the Caribbean that the Trump administration said had linked to Venezuela. The six-tanker vessel detained by Washington moved to take full control of Venezuela's oil reserves. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said the vessel, Veronica, had previously passed through Venezuela's water and was operating in defiance of President Donald Trump's established quarantine of sanctioned vessels in the Caribbean. Noem said the U.S. Marine and sailors stationed on board the aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford conducted the operation alongside a Coast Guard tactical team. Reports say the Veronica is the sixth sanctioned tanker seized by U.S. forces as part of President Trump's promise to take indefinite control of the production, refining and global distribution of Venezuela's oil products. Still on the foreign scene, U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to invoke the rarely used Insurrection Act to quell unrest over a federal immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis. He threatened to send in troops following a night of protest and vandalism in Minnesota City after an agent shot a man in the leg. The Department of Homeland Security reportedly said an officer opened fire after he was attacked by 3 Venezuela's nationals with a shovel and broom handle. Reports say tensions have been running high in Minneapolis since an immigration agent fatally shot Rain Nicole Good, age 37, last week, sparking nationwide protests. Still to come in the news. Super Falcons to face Zambia, Malawi, Egypt in Group C 2026 WAFCON. Stay tuned for details of this in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. Now let's go over to the concluding parts of today's stories. On our business news, Nigeria's headline inflation rate eased to 15.15% in December 2025, capping a year marked by slowing price pressures and early signs of stabilization across key sectors of the economy. The National Bureau of Statistics fall to include the rise in inflation in 2026. Let's take a quick break right now. We'll be back in a jiffy. Million liters of petrol daily, positioning Nigeria closer to energy self-sufficiency and global fuel standards. The newly appointed Managing Director, David Bird, cited seamless fuel supply during the Christmas and New Year holidays as evidence of growing operational stability. He explained that while demand fluctuates, particularly on weekends, the refinery remains confident it can sustain volumes and export surplus when necessary. In health, to ensure the availability of safe blood in its blood banks, the Lagos State government has renewed efforts to strengthen voluntary blood donation and close existing supply gaps with a target of collecting 250,000 units of blood annually. The Lagos State Blood Transfusion Service disclosed this during its 2026 Blood Donor Mobilizer Stakeholders Engagement. The Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayumi, said Lagos, with an estimated population of 30 million, requires between 200,000 and 250,000 units of blood annually. He stated that about 141,000 units, roughly 70% of the target, were collected in the last cycle, commending residents who voluntarily donated to save lives. We move now to sports, where WAFCON defending champions Super Eagles will face Zambia, Egypt and Malawi in Group C of the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations at the Labi Stadium, Casablanca. Meanwhile, the host Morocco, Algeria, Senegal and Kenya are in Group A, will be played at the Mole Al Hassan Stadium, Rabat. The WAFCON 2026 finals will run from 17 March to 3rd April. Still in sport, Barcelona beat Racing Santander to reach the quarterfinals of the Copa del Rey. Yamal wrapped up the win in stoppage time when he converted a cross from Rafinha at the far post. Barca had dominated possession without finding a way through until substitute Fermin Lopez played a wonderful pass through the Santander black line, and Torres rounded goalkeeper Joaquin to slot in. On entertainment news, Nigerian music star, area star, Davido, Wizkid and Tiwa Savage have been nominated for the 2026 Mopo Award, spotlighting Nigeria's strong presence on the global black music stage. The nominations were announced yesterday as organizers unveiled contenders across 20 categories ahead of the awards ceremony, which will be held on March 26, 2026 at the COP Live in Manchester City. The event marks the first time the Mopo Awards will be hosted in the city. Davido, Wizkid and Tiwa Savage are nominated in the Best African Music Acts category alongside fellow Nigerians Area Star, Rema, Shirley Poppy and Adekunle Gold. And that's all we have for you at this time. To ensure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website at spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 10. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.